All right, it's already 2 o'clock, so let's get a party started. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Welcome to Water Wednesdays. If this is the first time you tune in to Water Wednesdays, you may wonder, what is Water Wednesdays? So Water Wednesday is a Facebook live series about Florida's precious resources, water. Every Wednesday afternoon at 2 o'clock Eastern Time, a scientist from University of Florida will live stream a talk about Florida's water and what we can do to protect it. And today's talk is about microplastics. So let me move to next page. So here you can see September Water Wednesdays will feature microplastics. So for the first two topics will be what are microplastics, which is today's talk. I will give you an overview about microplastics and prepare for the next three talks. So next Wednesday, it will still be me, and I will teach you how to make your own beeswax food wraps. So in that way, we can reduce plastic wraps in household use. And on September 23rd, it's about bioplastics. So are they really better? So I have a guest speaker will give that talk. And the last one will be the like how microplastics are affecting marine ecosystem. So you can see the whole talk is all centered around microplastics. So I hope you will enjoy September's Microplastic Awareness Month. Let's move on. So I didn't introduce myself at the beginning. So my name is Yiling Zhuang. I'm the Water Resources Regional Specialized Agent with the University of Florida IFAS Extension. So IFAS stands for Institute of Food and Agriculture Sciences. So if this is the first time you heard extension, you may wonder what is extension. And I always say the simple way to describe us is we are the extension of University of Florida. So we are the extension of science-based, research-based information. So usually like extension does is a public outreach. So we have different format how we deliver information to public. Before COVID time, we do a lot like in-person classes, those traditional traditional workshops or field trips. During this pandemic, we switch lots of our programs online. So like today, we are doing, it's a Facebook live series. And I want to give credit is to Dr. Maya McGraw. She created this PowerPoint. She presented, this presentation was originally presented at the Florida Marine Science Educators Association annual conference in 2015. And she updated the info in last few years. And before I dive into microplastics, just a little bit of housekeeping. I know scammers recently are getting crazy. They are copying our event and post on sometimes it's under our post, sometimes I post somewhere else. So ask you to register for the event. And when you register event, they ask your credit card information. So just want to let you know the whole entire Facebook live series, Water Wednesday Facebook live series is free. You don't need to register. All you need to do is just to tune in at Wednesday, 2 o'clock Eastern time, so you can see our live stream talk. And another housekeeping thing is today I'm a one-person team, so I can now look at the Facebook page while I'm presenting. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave on the comment section after this this quick talk. I will look at the Facebook page and answer your questions. All right, enough background. Now let's dive into what are microplastics. So generally speaking, microplastics are defined, it's just any type of plastics. They are smaller than 5 millimeters. So they are defined as microplastics. There are mainly two types of microplastics. The first group, we call it secondary microplastics. So basically just a big piece of plastics. They break down to smaller and smaller pieces. And when they are smaller than 5 millimeters, they are called microplastics. And for secondary microplastics, very common actually, it's fibers. Not sure if you can see this, see the picture clearly. They like a thread here, it looks like hair. Actually, it's fiber. So they are like polyesters or microfibers. So basically, every time you do laundry, you are discharging microplastics into the environment. If the original material, like the clothes, is polyester, is nylon, or anything not like natural cotton, so they will shred and become secondary microplastics into our waterways. There's also another type, it's called primary microplastics. So for primary microplastics, which means they are built small. So in this picture, you can see it's like those like more like noodles. So they are make that tiny and they have different colors. They have different shapes. So it looks like they are round, but they don't have to be totally round. And this type of microplastics actually was very common a while ago, which you will know in my next slide. So they are made for inclusion in personal care products, so like toothpaste or facial scrubs. So we often refer these type of microplastics as microbeads. So the scientific name for that is polyethylene. So the reason I said it was very common a few years ago. It was you can find like here it's circled polyethylene. You can find polyethylene in a lot of personal care products. So like why a microplastic added to items that are used in our bodies, right? So it just sounds so bizarre. Do they have any functions? And the answer may be a little bit disappointing. It's actually not really. They are not active ingredients. So if you look at label of your personal care product, you can see some it's active ingredient. Another list is called inactive ingredient. And these microplastics, microbeads added to personal care product, they are not active ingredients. So mainly when they are just like cheap fillers. So when microplastics, microbeads added to personal care product, they provide some like color or the shine or just the texture, not necessary for any functions. And the downside for microbeads, it's also, they are not removed by wastewater treatment plants because you can imagine those microbeads smaller than 5 millimeters. Microplastics are smaller than 5 millimeters. And these microbeads are tiny. So it is very hard, or we can say currently our wastewater treatment facilities are not equipped to remove microbeads from water. Another reason I said it was very common, like you can find microbeads in a lot of personal care products a few years ago. But from this is Microbeads Free Waters Act. So it was around 2017. Oh, as the picture show here, it's July 17. So this act bans the use of microbeads in rinse-off personal care products. So you may wonder, like, what's rinse off? So rinse off, it's the definition that you use that personal care product to clean your body or to exfoliate your bodies. Then it's considered rinse off personal care products. One time I did this talk, one attendee asked a question. So it's like, are all the products rinsed off? Yes, you can all wash off your personal care product, but here the rinse off the definition is you use this personal care product to cleanse your body. So which means it's like facial scrub, facial cleansers, your toothpaste, your shampoo, that kind of products. Now they don't contain polyethylene. So for other type of personal care product, like your deodorant or even your makeup, they may still contain polyethylene. So let me move back to that. So that can be a homework for all of you here. So if you are interested, actually, you can go to any groceries. You go to personal care product aisles. I went there early this year just to check for deodorant, if I can still find polyethylene. So if you wonder how to spell that, it's circled here. So it's circled here, it's polyethylene. You can look at ingredients of deodorant or even look at makeups. Like I said earlier this year, I went to a grocery store and I went to the personal care product aisles. So randomly pick a few deodorants. Some some contained polyethylene, some didn't. So really, it's like I couldn't find a pattern, and it's not related to the scent. One product, it was the same scent, just different packaging. So one contained polyethylene, the other didn't have that. And I even find polyethylene in eyeliner, eyeshadow, and even for mascara. So that can be, to me, it's quite interesting, or really like eye-opening. So when you do groceries, you just in addition to looking at the labels and nutrition labels, also look at the labels of your personal care products, just to see if you can find polyethylene. And like, why do we care about microplastics? So I already mentioned the microplastics. They are smaller than 5 millimeters, and you can find microplastics in personal care products. And we already know wastewater treatment plants are not equipped to remove them. Then it's like, okay, then why? Like, why do we care? What are the consequences? So one big consequence, as we all know, is plastic. So plastic, they don't biodegrade. So when they're in the environment, they stay in the environment. And what's even worse, it's for marine lives. So microplastics are eaten by marine lives, and they cause some issues with marine ecosystem. So for the details of how microplastics are affecting marine ecosystem, it will be the last talk, last Wednesday of this month. So at this point, I'm not going to expand that. And here it's, you can see basically we can find microplastics everywhere. So this is not an exclusive list. So the list goes on and on. So you can find it in tap water, in bottled water, in beer, in sea salt. And I didn't show here. It's one time I even examined wine. I also find microplastics in wine. So basically, it's all the product, I wouldn't say all the product, but the products involve water in processing, you can find the microplastics. And this is, to me, it was an interesting research that was published in 2018, October 2018. So it's I believe it's a Norwegian, it's a European Research Institute. They examined human poops and they find microplastics in human poop. So if you are interested, you can search this research and see it's how they do that research. It's a smelly research, but to me, it's the result is still, it's not surprised. We knew, because we knew microplastics, they are in water, microplastics in seafood. So it won't be surprising to find it's like microplastic in human waste. And some other questions arise among microplastics. So because we know they have impact on marine ecosystem. Then how about microplastics, the impact on human? So at this point, so far, the research doesn't show microplastics have adverse health impact on human, but they are posing impact on ecosystem. And the next few slides, to me, the statistics, the number is always, to me, it's just, I'm shocked to see the numbers. That's why I want to share a few quotes with you all here. The first one is 8 million metric tons of plastic entered the ocean in 2010. So to picture 8 million metric tons of plastics, so you can think it's those like grocery bags. So 8 metric ton equals 5 grocery bags packed with grocery bags. So you have one bag of grocery bag and inside you filled with all the grocery bags. So that's 5 bags full of plastic bags every foot of shoreline of the 129 countries. So that's how much, like 8 million tons. And this quote, I think we are all very familiar. It's like almost every single piece of plastic ever made still exists. So when we go back to the question, why do we care? So it's not just for our generation, it's also think about, so for next generation and the next generation. I think I read another quote, I didn't put it there, it's by 2050, there will be more plastics. The mass of plastics in ocean will be more than all the fish in our ocean. So just think about it. That to me is just really scary and it's really sad. It's like our ocean is not for fish or for marine life. It's just the ocean for plastics. Then let's move to something, it's like what we can do, right? We already learned what are microplastics and they have impact on marine ecosystem and marine lives. I didn't expand that. Like I said, the last Wednesday of September, we have a guest speaker. We'll talk about how microplastics affecting marine ecosystems. So what we can do, we all know 3R. So 3R, it's reduce, reuse, and recycle. And I want to say it should be in this order. First, always reduce the use, and find if we can reuse it. And the last resort, it should be recycle. And I think I put it here, I should say I put it here, Dr. Maya put it here, it's refuse. And I think refuse should be the first one. Refuse to use plastics, then we reduce plastic use, reuse and recycle. So something else you can do, like I said, you can check the labels. So for be an informed consumer, when you are purchasing your personal care products, you read the labels, use consumer power. So when we are all eliminating or reducing the use of personal care products contain polyethylene, so we are actually a step forward to reduce microplastics in the ocean. And we can also participate in beach cleanups and look for very small plastics. So something I want to show you here is, I think it's 2010 data. Yes, that's the 2018 data, International Coastal Cleanup. And you can see it's, I'm not sure how clear you can see here. It's the top 10 items collected from coastal, from the beach. So the first one is cigarette butts. So we know cigarette butts is also a petroleum-based fiber. So it's also plastic. And the food wrappers, straws, stirrers, forks, knives, spoons. Number 5, plastic beverage bottles. Number 6, plastic bottle cups. Number 7, plastic grocery bags. Number 8, other plastic bags. Number 9, plastic lids. number 10, plastic cups. So you can see all of the 10 top 10 items found in the International Coastal Cleanup in 2017. They are all made from or contain plastics. So that brings up what we can do. Actually, what we can do is quite simple. It doesn't need to take like big effort. We can just choose between this, like the picture on your left, one it's a single-use water bottle, another it's a reusable bottle. Even the reusable bottle is still made of plastic, but at least, so it's not single-use. You are reusing that. I always want to say it's this talk. It's not really to guilt ourselves, so we can all take steps to make actions or to make changes. Because there was a time I feel really bad. Like I go to groceries, you look at cups, more or less. Either sometimes the cup itself, it's like stainless steel, but the cap is plastic. So to me, there was a time I feel like to live a plastic-free life becomes very challenging or sometimes impossible. But it's that I want to say it's just don't guilt yourself. So we can all take small steps. So like here, even it's a plastic bottle, it's a reusable bottle. It's just one step better than the single-use plastic bottle. And if you can replace your plastic reusable bottle with the stainless steel or non-plastic reusable bottle, it will be better. So one step at a time. Don't beat up yourself too hard. And also like here on the right corner, it's about coffee. So if we can use reusable coffee cups instead of single use, especially this is a styrofoam cups, we can all make some positive impacts. And also, it's I think it was 2 years ago, there was a movement. Seattle became the first city banned single-use plastic straws. And if you go to Gainesville, most restaurants don't offer plastic straws. And also, it's like when you do groceries, you can bring your own grocery bags instead of single-use plastic bags. And something else here I want to share with you, it's sometimes we don't pay that much attention, it's our clothes. I briefly mentioned, so they are the secondary microplastics. So if your clothes, you read a label, it's not cotton, then they will become a type of synthetic fibers in our waterways, especially like any clothes, like sports clothes, like polyester, or even microfibers for your sheets. So the first time I heard microfibers, I thought it was like a superior layer, a version of natural cotton. Actually, it's not microfibers. Still, it's a synthetic fiber. So it's a petroleum-based plastic. So when you do your laundries, if it's not cotton, then you are discharging fibers into the waterways. Here, it's there are a few options because it's really hard. That's maybe the second homework you can do. So you can look at your closet and look at labels of your clothes just to check what's the main material of your clothes. So I understand for professional wears and sports wears, the main material is always polyester. So it's really hard to find something it's 100% cotton. But when it is when you are doing laundries for those clothes made of polyester. So what you can do, to be honest, here what you can do is quite limited. We don't have a lot of options at this point for how to capture fibers or polyester fibers from laundry, like clothes washers. So these are the two products available, but they are either, it's like you put a filter at the hose of your washer, or you have a drainage sink, then you put a filter to filter out the fibers. So like I said, so far the options are quite limited. So again, we can use our consumer power. So if we can choose the clothes 100% cotton instead of polyester, we are making a positive influence. We are making one step towards reducing plastic into the ocean. Something else that you and I can all do is to join Florida Microplastics Awareness Project. This project was founded in 2010. It was led by Dr. Maya McGrath. She created this microplastic awareness volunteer project. So for volunteers, collect 1 liter of water and then filter them, observing the filters for microplastics. So here I want to share some results from this citizen science project. So far, microplastics, they are found in Florida waters. So I do want to let you know, for that 1 liter of water they collected, it's not tap water, it's all natural waterways, and most sites are in coastal areas. So what they've been finding, mostly it's fibers, so it's from clothes. And on the picture here, you can see it's the blue thread here. You can see the color is just very like sharp color. In the middle, it's a microbead. On the left corner, I don't know if you can see that or not, it's film. So usually it's from like a plastic bag, like Ziploc bag, or from clean food wraps. So here, just a little bit more like data in details. Plastics are found in water samples. In 427 water samples, most 1 liter of water contain 1 to 5 pieces of microplastics. So if you want to be a volunteer, or if you are interested to learn more about plastics, because today is just the intro, just let you know what are microplastics. If you want to learn more details, you can go to this website. It's called plasticaware.org. You can find more like detailed information, or you can just tune in next Wednesday, because this whole month will lay out, I wouldn't call it everything, but we'll lay out what you need to know about microplastics. And here we'll show it's, because remember for the 3R, actually it's 4R, it's refuse, reduce, reuse, and recycle. So the last one is recycle. So, and before that, it's reduce. There are 8 ways to reduce plastic waste. We already covered a little bit. First, read the labels and avoid personal care products that contain polyethylene. Use paper or reusable shopping bags. Avoid using drinking straws, avoid using plastic straws. Bring your own reusable water bottles. Bring your own washable drink cup. Use foil or washable container as a to-go box at restaurant or when packing lunches. And for next week, I will teach you how to use how to make your own beeswax food wrap. So you can also use a beeswax food wrap to wrap your food. And number 7, it's to recycle as many plastic items as possible. And the last one is choose natural fabrics instead of synthetic fibers. And when it comes to recycle, so keep in mind, if you doubt if it's recyclable or not, please throw it away. Because we find it just, if you put it in the wrong recycle process, you will contaminate the whole recycling process. So if you doubt, just throw it away. And what I said, the 8 ways to reduce microplastics, is the pledge you can find at plasticaware.org. So you can also go online to take the pledge, because so far from September 2015 to May 2020, we've already collected over 2,000 pledges. And a follow-up, the follow-up surveys showed average 3.4 behavior changes adopted. And for microplastics, there's also, besides the website, it's a www.plasticaware.org. You can also follow their Facebook. And to that, that will conclude, that will be the end of this quick talk, the intro talk of what microplastics are. Here I put a few links, which includes our Facebook page. So if you like this talk, if you like our Water Wednesdays, please give a thumb up. I also post a link, a survey link on the chat box. We will greatly appreciate if you can take the survey and let us know how we can improve our Water Wednesday series. And for next Wednesday, just show here, it's how to make your DIY food wrap. Still Wednesday, still 2 o'clock Eastern time. So we look forward to see you next Wednesday. And now let me move to the Facebook page. Like I said, today I'm a one-person team, so it may take a little bit of time for me to find out our questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to put in the chat box. Even you are watching the recording, you are not watching the live session, you can still put in the chat box. I will check the comments and get back to you. All right, let me read the comments. We have a few comments here. So thank you for what you are doing in educating the public on such water hazard. Thank you so much for this comment. And another comment is that it's eye-opening. I totally agree with that, especially when I'm reading all the statistics or like when I'm filtering the water. I collected, I forgot how many, maybe over 40 samples from the springs. So it's not from the spring surface, it's from the spring vent. So which we sometimes we call it spring boiling. So spring vent is more like the what's the word for that? To us, it's the door to the aquifer, to the groundwater, to help us understand the groundwater better. So for the sampling from the springs, from the spring vents, we also find plastics. So just like the code I showed earlier, every single piece of plastics ever made, they still exist. So they exist in the environment. They exist in our waterways. And I have a question here. It's foil, okay? So from the microplastic perspective, yes, we do encourage if you wrap your food, instead of plastic wraps, use foil to wrap your food. All right, so I will wait for a minute or so. If you have any questions, you can post it here. And let me check, see if I missed any questions. I think that's all the questions. I believe that's all the questions for today. I hope I didn't miss any questions. If I did, like I said, I will answer your questions in the comment section. So Again, if you like our Water Wednesday series, you like this video, please give us thumb up and follow us on Facebook page. Tune in next Wednesday at 2 o'clock. So thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Bye.